What does change for you, like on a weekly basis now? Like what responsibilities now do you have to handle that maybe you weren't doing before?
Yeah, more involved, with the totality of the game plan. Previously more focused on the run game, right? But now being able to go and figure out how we want to be able to attack opponents in the pass game also, and making sure tying everything together and doing everything we can for Coach Kaf to kind of set the table. He's got a little bit more on his plate now too, but trying to take some of the stress off of him from game planning, so we can kind of set the table and he comes into the meeting and kind of knows what we want, and can trim down the menu and make sure we get exactly what he wants the way he wants it.
How about on game days in terms of we know he's still calling the plays, but on game day will you be more active in, I guess, maybe like thinking ahead in terms of plays? Like
yeah, I think when you're on the sideline and whatever the role is, you're always kind of thinking what you can do next to try and help put some points on the board. Being more involved in that, in game adjustments, what looks good, what's coming down the pike here in terms of the next series, things along those lines, and making sure our guys are ready to go execute.
Will you move upstairs or will you stay on the sideline?
As far as I know, I'll be on the sideline.
You went through this in 2020 with the in-season coaching change.
Yep.
What lessons do you take from that you can use now?
You got about 10 minutes, right? And then the rest of the league doesn't really care. So it's hard, to take the personal element out of it. But you find out, quickly, like, here we go, Green Bay's coming to town, and they don't really care what we're going through. So got to be able to kind of deal with it in your own way, in your own time, but make sure that you're getting back to neutral so you can go and put together a good plan for the guys so they can go out and win a game in a few days.
What have you seen from the players and how they handled it?
They're ready to go out and win a game. So they're preparing, at a high level. Attention to detail, everything along those lines has stayed the same. So there's really been no dip or anything along those lines. Those guys are ready to go out and play well and win a football game.
What have you seen from Jameis?
From Jameis? You guys saw a little bit yesterday, heard it. I'm not going to break into song, but no, his leadership is off the charts. Really, that whole room, all three of them have done a really good job of leading in their own way with their own style. When you're around him and you see him prepare, he was here last night until God knows when, making sure he felt good with the game plan and taking input and things along those lines. So he's preparing like the pro he is, and he's getting ready to go out and lead this team.
when Neighbors got hurt, one of the noticeable changes to the offensive line to the offense was the tight ends became much more involved.
Mm-hmm.
Was that something at that time when Neighbors went down that you and Kafka put your heads together and said, hey, like, maybe this is a way we can go forward?
Yeah,
I'm just trying to say the partnerip between you guys.
Sure,
that could be
sure,
an example.
and it's everybody. It's everybody up there. It's Shay, it's LB, it's Carm. It's everybody up there. Kind of, what can we do as an offense in our position rooms as a unit to put this team in the best position possible to win a game? So if that means that we're playing a personnel group a little bit more, then based upon what it looks like and who's available, then we'll do that. But I think that's just an example of kind of everybody putting their heads together and figuring out what's best for us.
How are you gonna, just logistically balance tight end group and anything changes?
Yeah, a little less sleep for me. But that's really it. Like, there's enough time in the day. Just got to figure out what my cadence is going to be, what my rhythm, my routine, to make sure that the guys in the tight end room are as prepared as possible, and making sure that we put together a good plan for the unit.
Sorry. You mentioned that you've been focused on the run game.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think of how you guys are running the ball? What do you think needs to get better?
Yeah, I think we have spurts where it's really good, and spurts where it's not so good. We need to, and I would say as a unit, we need to be more consistent, right? Because there's times where we're tough to stop, and then there's other times where it's like, God dang, right? So just making sure that our guys understand the consistency that's needed to win. Unfortunately, we found out the hard way that it takes 60 minutes of good football to win a football game in this league. So continuing to really, really hammer home that message and make sure everyone's on board with that and understand the amount of detail and focus that we need for the entire game, not just spurts.
this Packers defense doesn't give up a lot of points. Just what are you seeing from them and just kind of how they've been able to execute?
Yeah, I mean, they've got talent on all three levels, right? You look up front, Micah and Gary, their problems on the edge. You see Quay Walker flying around, making a million tackles. They got two really good safeties, two good corners. So, they've got good talent on every level of the defense. They're very well coached. They fly around, they tackle well, they play fundamental football. And schematically, they're hard to get a beat on. So I think when you pair those things, that's the product you get.
When you say very well coached, you're watching the film. How did you tell that?
Detailed in terms of their assignments. You don't see a ton of MEAs. Guys just running free. They're good tacklers. They fly to the football. Just those things as you're watching it.
When you first came here, did you know Kafka? Did you know Dable? Like, what was the origin of you?
Yeah. I'd had a couple conversations at a dinner with Dave's a few years back, and then Kaf and I had talked on the phone a couple times, just, touching base, asking about, certain processes and things along those lines. So I would say we knew each other. I wouldn't say it was a close relationship before we got here.
Can you risk not giving Parsons a ton of attention all game? I mean, because you want to call things to keep them off balance, but you also don't want to ignore.
Sure, yeah, and he's as disruptive as a pass rusher and defensive player as we've seen. And fortunately for us, I think we have two pretty good tackles, right? So, we're going to have to pick our spots there and do a good job and make sure he doesn't wreck the game. But being smart in terms of making sure we're not compromising either aspect there.
We'll take a couple more if they'll have them.
Okay, when you look, you obviously you have about 10 minutes before you can actually get ready for another game and that idea. Can you go in and some of the voices may change in the room and what you're doing schematically, but is it really what you have set up? Like, what changes in the process for you guys moving forward this week?
I think most of the change will probably occur behind the scenes in terms of how we put the plan together. There'll be some they'll probably hear my voice in the big room a little bit more than they have throughout the first however many weeks. But it's still the same vision. We're still here to make sure we're putting our guys in the best position possible. It's not there's going to be a dramatic shift in anything, and again, let our guys understand what the plan is, be able to go out there and play fast and really execute at a high level.
Last one.
When you guys are running the ball on the goal line, it seemed like early season, especially with Scatterbo, you guys were having success down there punching it in.
Mm-hmm.
When you see now, do you need more direct running, or is it just because it's tighter quarters, more bodies, like one mistake is more costly?
I would say anywhere you have a mistake, it's costly. I think we've been rather efficient down there. Obviously, we'd like to see us be able to punch that one in last week. We got tackled at the half-yard line, 1 yard line. And then, the backer made a good play on the outside zone. We ran to the right where we ended up losing 2, and I think that was a second down play. It's the same though, right? Like, it's the ability to maintain that level of focus, play style, attention to detail, no matter where we're at in the game or where we're at on the field. That doesn't change. So we got to be, at the pinnacle of that for as long as we can. And again, like I said, we've figured out the hard way what happens when we don't do that.